Why is anyone offended by drag? I am quite conservative. I have zero issues with drag. I believe in freedom and people living the lives they do wish. The people who do hate drag are scared. They're indoctrinated by their news sources. They're unfamiliar with it, so they assume it's bad or wrong. The one thing is that drag is often sexual, so when the drag shows involve children, the sexual component should certainly be eliminated. But so long as it is, be free, babe. In a large number of areas and nightclubs, drag performances are often highly sexual in nature. They have been that way for years. There are a number of people unwilling to believe the shows would change to suit the younger audience, and therefore want no youth participation at the events. If the events are not sexual, the problem goes away completely. From what I understand, a lot of people aren't against drag. They're against exposing children to the more risque parts of drag and against people refusing to acknowledge that drag had a sexual element to it. I think it's just that Americans aren't good at context and nuance, so it ends up becoming drag good or drag bad, with little interest from both parties in actually elaborating on why and no interest in hearing out the other side. But then again, this is Reddit, so you'll mostly get raw Republicans are evil, all drag queens are wonderful and not at all sexual. I'm not offended by it, but I am hugely irritated by it. In the same way any loud, brash, or overtly dramatic person is irritating. I don't have issues with drag. However, to say that it's just being feminine in public is pretty messed up. I'm feminine in public every day and would never look like I'm in drag. I don't know a single woman who is naturally like that. It's definitely not cool to reduce women to makeup and hair. Back when I was younger, I was offended by drag because it felt incredibly sexist and degrading for women. For me, the over-accentuation of traits typically associated with women were the epitome of misogyny. Nowadays I can laugh about it, but I'm still not a fan because it still somewhere deep down feels sexist to me. As if they're making fun of womankind. What changed was the more open acceptance of trans folks. Too many people feel threatened by it, and it's caused a major upsurge in transphobia. The reason people suddenly have such a problem with drag show is the direct result of that transphobia. I think it's quite misogynistic. Guys who dress up as women because they want to be feminine, yet they only display horrible stereotypes women have to deal with on a daily basis. Being catty, slutty, airheaded, tons of makeup. Is that what women are in your eyes? Is that how a woman looks like and acts? All for fun or art. And at the end of the night they get back to being men again. My gender isn't your costume. If it was a guy pretending to be from another race and acting like it's racial stereotype, all hell would break loose. But I guess since it's just women, I guess it's okay by everyone. My aversion to drag is not religious, but I feel mocked by men playing over-the-top caricatures of what they think a woman looks and acts like, with caked in makeup and gaudy wigs. Dress feminine as much as you like, but once you start being a caricature, don't expect me to take you seriously. This seems to be turning into an attack on the 21st century definition of feminine. People can't dress a certain way. People can't be themselves. FFs. Going to old way of thinking. Girls wear dress. Boy wear pants. I'm not offended by drag, but I firmly believe it does not belong around children. Drag is inherently sexual and as such has no place around kids. Everyone in my circle, including myself, are not against drag. And we're all as conservative as they come. In fact, I think drag can be hilarious. I love Corporal Klinger and I went to a pirate cabaret show last month where the main star was a Dwarf drag queen, an extremely talented aerobatics artist that I gave high praise to after the show. It's when children are present at sexualized, G-stringed, fake-titted booties shaking money in panties drag shows where we have a problem. I also have a big problem with people saying, but that isn't happening, when all it takes is a quick Google search to confirm it. There have been at least 40 viral videos in the past 2 years alone, which means that people claiming it isn't happening are obviously lying specifically to cover it up, for some reason that I dread. And then you'll get the response, well, what about Hooters? Or other risque things kids can see on billboards and stuff. Yeah, I don't think kids should be exposed to that either. But I never advocated for it. I don't see it happening often, if at all, and if it does happen, I don't see anyone defending it like their life depended on it. Got no problem with drag. I have a problem with grown adults being explicitly sexual in public spaces, especially when children are present. You want to dress up like a woman and prance around your bar? Go for it. Not my cup of tea. But hey, I don't have to see it. Just make it an optional thing and leave the kids out of it. Prior to 2022, abortion was legal nationwide. Conservative politicians could run for office promising to end legal abortion on morality grounds. There was vague railing against other immorality, but specific examples just weren't as big vote-getters as abortion. In 2022, Roe was overturned. Campaign promise kept. Now, conservative politicians are flailing around for a new morality issue that'll get them elected. This is why vague railing against immorality has turned into specifics, like anti-transgender and anti-drag. Stuff that used to be no more than an angry tweet is now potentially the next anti-abortion. Case in point about all the flailing. Ron DeSantis, member of the party traditionally in favor of letting corporations do whatever they want, is now condemning the taxpayer paying the most taxes in Florida, Disney, for not paying their fair share of taxes. Flailing so much he's sounding liberal on taxation. Person facepalming. Drag in and of itself is fine. Consenting adults should be allowed to do anything they want. The issue is when you begin to involve children. Things like this that are advertised for children, in this case, babies, is what bothers people. Here's another resource to show why people are uncomfortable with them around children. There's also the drag queens who've come out against children being involved in shows and such. Drag shows are not synonymous with being feminine, nor are they illegal in Tennessee. More often than not, drag shows are sexualized performances. The Tennessee law forbids sexualized performances from being performed in front of minors. Drag performers can keep performing in Tennessee and any adult can go watch. Have you watched Bowling for Columbine? It's quite old but will answer your question quite well. In the US you are constantly being told to be afraid. Be scared of everything and anything all of the time. It takes people's minds off the real problem of crooked politicians. I just don't think it's a place for children. It's like taking your kid to a strip club, or even Hooters. Because the boss has bills to pay. The boss lives in a nice big house that they are paying off. And his franchise business needs to stay in business so he can pay these big bills. So, if his franchise doesn't sell drag, and drag is popular, they lose market share. The franchises in question are, of course, churches.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.